All right, guys, welcome back. Market Mondays.
Yes. Happy Monday to all. Happy Monday to all.
Yes. The show must continue. We are on the road. We've been on the road for a while. We were in Columbus, Ohio. Shout out to Columbus. We were in Chicago. Shout out to the shot.
The west side of Chicago.
and now
Quick stop.
And now we are in sunny Los Angeles, California.
Indeed.
Shout out to LA. Always good energy, good vibe.
Every single time. There hasn't been one time.
Cali. And then after this, we are headed to New York and we are on our way to London.
Yes. Across the pond time.
London. So, just real. Once again, this is the last call, final call. London will happen this weekend. This weekend, we have a VIP experience on Sunday. We have a Halloween party. Shout out to Terrence J. This took a lot of work putting this together. But shout out to my guy Dio.
Yes.
For helping us with this. And shout out to Terrence J.
Lord Dio. Love.
Halloween party will be at Kitty's Club. Kitty's Club, Central London, Vibe. Everybody that has a VIP ticket gets in for free. If not, it will be a bidding war at the door. If you have some young
breaking
ladies,
news alert.
if you have some young
The conversion
ladies,
not gonna help you this time.
No. Only the ladies will help you. So
it's the only chance you got.
If you're one guy, bring 3 girls. That's good. You got to even the ratio.
That's the ratio.
Bring some vibes. Yep.
3-1. Okay.
3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
That's
ratio.
what we're going with.
But now that's Sunday. Oh, costumes mandatory. You have a costume?
You got it ready? You got
I got a little something.
Yeah, I got 2 just in case.
Costumes.
You got 2 joints? Oh,
yeah. You know, that's a tough
thing. You making
a
change?
When you're married to someone, it has to be something that makes sense for both of you. And so we were debating for a while, and we kind of settled on something. And then she had one that she wanted. I was like, all right, we'll just do both just in case.
Both. That's a
night of what we gonna do.
You gotta teach me. I'll be stupid. I'm like, no, it's my way or the highway.
No, it's gonna be fun, man. Oh, VIP. Let me just explain the VIP. So shout out to Alice Good Energy.
Yes.
Shout out to Aristotle Investment. Shout out to Caleb. Shout out to, I believe we got a few other people, right?
We got Aristotle.
We'll be there.
Absolutely.
I don't want to say anybody wrong, but we're working on it. It's gonna be a vibe. The whole VIP thing is gonna be a vibe.
We got Beyond Win.
Beyond Win.
That's gonna be
good. Shout out to my brother Beyond Win.
Yeah, we got some UK surprises.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And then so it's a mix and mingle. We're gonna have education. They're gonna present information. Then we're gonna have mix and mingle type thing, some drinks and some food.
Caleb Silver?
Yes.
Yeah.
Caleb Silver will be in the building. Okay.
That's a fact.
Yes.
Invescopedia's own.
Yes. And then
it's gonna be a legendary night.
And then the party. Everybody that is VIP is gonna have a party later on. Get changed and then Monday, Halloween day.
Yes.
The moment we've all been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. Royal Albert Hall. We've been talking about this for a very long time. The moment is here, and it will be a night to remember, man. Yes.
I'm excited, man. I can't lie. I can't wait.
Royal, Regal.
Please dress accordingly. It's going to be something that's going to be special, man. On the bill for tonight, we have Anton Bella Dixon. They call him the Tyler Perry of the UK. Guys absolutely killing it out there right now. Then we also have Patricia Bright.
Don't forget about her.
Legend in the game. Tabidi Stevens will be gracing the stage.
Yes.
Shout out to the king.
Yes, shout out to
Tabidi. A good dude.
We will have the master investor and Wall Street trapper together.
Shout out to the king.
First time only. We will have EYL 19 Keys together.
Shout out to the Kings.
Vibes.
Another legendary situation.
We will have who else do we have? MG the mortgage guy. How could I forget MG? Shout out to my brother MG. MG the mortgage guy will be in the building. We will also have
Sebastian Newby will be there.
Sebastian will be there.
Jatalia. Shout out to Jatalia and all the help she's been doing with the UK situation.
Jatalia.
That's fair.
Can't forget Jatalia. And Terrence J will be in the building.
That's a fact.
Yeah, shout out to the king.
The hostess with the mostest. And we got
and Meghan and Harry will be there at the end. It's a surprise.
And we're working on a musical surprise.
We got a few of those.
We're working on a big musical surprise. So Get your tickets. It's not too late, but it is quickly becoming too late. So go to investfest.com, get your tickets, and meet us there, man. It's still not too late to come from America. Plane tickets are still under $1,000. So
That's
if you want to
true.
make the last minute American run, you can do that. Then everybody in Europe, everybody in the UK, everybody in Africa,
Yep.
get your tickets, man. We're gonna
Yes,
So all
sir.
my fellas, if you haven't found your vibe here, you may have to come to London like Eddie did and come into America and meet your vibe there. Also, I don't know anyone that's made millions off of replays, but I do know some people that have made millions from being there in person. Please show up. Everyone's like, hey, what about the replay? All the money's in the networking. I can't feel your energy through replay or vice versa. Show up. It's going to be the perfect time to network, build some businesses, work on some partnerships. So see y'all there. I'm excited. I cannot wait.
Yeah, you said Tyler Perry. So we'd be remiss if we did not shout out Miss Tina Knowles.
Well, I was gonna talk about that later on. 'Cause
Shout out to we'll get there. Yeah. So
that's something we
we
gotta
just
talk
want to I
about.
want to give her a personal shout out.
Yeah.
What an amazing event she had this weekend. And
You
shout out
can't
to
bury
all-
the lead though. At least tease them with it.
Yeah. No. I just wanted to give a
Yeah.
huge shout specifically to the young men and women that she's impacting. I got to see that firsthand, and that was pretty impressive. So shout out to her.
I'm gonna be on my Tavis Smiley tonight, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way to sneak it in. Troy, I got you.
And the last thing is a big episode tomorrow. Shout out to Storm Leroy, and congratulations to the guys. They just did a conference in Florida.
Yes.
Ash, Cash,
Fam.
Marvin, and Storm Leroy,
Yeah.
and it looked like it was a very successful event.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. So he will be our guest on EYL. Very interesting conversation. We're talking about real estate. He's another one like these 9-to-5 millionaire, where he actually was working a job at Verizon
For 20 years.
He was working for Verizon,
Wow.
investing in real estate in Brooklyn, and built $1 million, multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio while actually still working at Verizon. So it's just like the Jamal King when he was a cop. Very similar situation. So, a lot of times people will say like, I'm not a millionaire. I don't have time to do this. Like this is a blue collar person in a very expensive city in New York. So a lot of the excuses that people use, this is an episode to watch. Like if he can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah. And Storm's one of those guys. We actually met him 2 years prior to doing this interview. And he was like, I got so much information I want to share. And I remember telling him, like, just keep grinding, bro. When it's ready, the people are going to tell us that you need to be in the chair and the seat's going to be waiting for you. And so to see him there and the way he delivered on this episode, it's going to be one of those ones that's going to be remembered. So shout out to him.
Yeah. And he's a great person. And
he's a solid dude.
Another thing, he delivered on Ash Cash's show inside the vault. That's another thing. Boy, he moved some numbers and told a compelling story.
He definitely did do that.
He did.
That's what our attention.
Blueprint. A lot of people like, hey, can we get on the show? Move some numbers.
Like 500,000 views. So
Yeah.
shout out to him. All right, Troy.
Yeah, man. Wanted to tell you about our good friends over at Ally, right? So if you're looking to bank or invest, I want to let you know about Ally. They're the leading digital financial service company with passionate customer service, innovative financial solutions, and are relentlessly focused on doing it right for both customers and our communities. Get with Ally so that you can save, invest, and spend on the things that matter most to you. For everything we need, we are all better off for the Ally. Shout out to good folks at Ally, and shout out to our good friends at United Masters, Ryan and John and the whole team over there. Love is love. Yeah. And you know how this works. This is a disclaimer. Do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you hear on our show and which you rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. Please, people, continue to do your research, and when it's good, share it. But please do not remix what you learn here from Master Investment.
Did he invent the remix? Not y'all.
Did he did it? Irv capitalized on it. And now Hitmaker's killing it as well. So shout out to all three of them.
Hitmaker. Oh, speaking of that, assets over liabilities.
Yeah.
This week's a big one. Burner.
Legend.
Yes, Marijuana King.
Legend.
The legit
legal
BMF.
Marijuana King.
The legit BMF. Yeah. Super dope dude, extremely humble. If you don't know Burner, I'm sure you probably heard of Cookies.
Have you frequented before?
No, I haven't. But
you know some people.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Cookies, man. You know, I didn't know how he makes so much money off of merch. So that episode's dope, man. Anybody that's interested in the marijuana business, which a lot of people are, you need to check that out on Revolt. Shout out to our Revolt family tonight on the television station, and then on Wednesday on their YouTube platform. Bless you. So shout out to Burner. Shout out to the Bay Area. Anybody that's interested in that marijuana situation, merch situation, building a brand, need to check that out, man. That's a big one.
He's one
Was
of
it
those.
reveal part of that blueprint on how to move merch?
Yeah.
No, he gave a lot of information. He gave a lot of great information.
He's one of them ones, man. And I mean, I think, well, he's the second now person that we've sat down with who's been on the cover of Forbes in the past year.
Cover of Forbes.
He was a cover of Forbes.
He was a cover of
marijuana
Forbes.
at that.
That's legendary.
Special. No, he's special.
He was on like that when we interviewed him. It came out that same week.
Exactly. We went to the airport and his face was all over the newsstands
He
on
was
the
on
cover
the
of Forbes.
cover of Forbes. That is a fact.
Mm.
All right, Ian.
Love you
announcements?
guys. No stock club call tonight. I will be traveling to London, but I will have the presentation uploaded for you guys and swing trading prices. If you want to join the stock club, link in bio. You can go to JordanRedPanda.com. For everybody who's going to be at InvestFest, I cannot wait to see you. I'm incredibly excited. This is going to be a show. And shout out to the Lobby Boys. We're going to be up all night.
The
Cannot
Lobby
wait.
Boys are back.
The only way. All right. So now we are go into a presentation, encore presentation. Because Ian did a presentation last week. A lot of people were excited about that. So we're going to start the show.
Slotty and different.
We're going to start the show off with a presentation, and then we'll finish off with some trending topics.
Let me get you the room right real quick. Let me give you the capabilities. There you go, my brother.
Start the show. Get your notepads ready. Love y'all.
You guys told me sliding in was different, so I had to bring him back this week. I appreciate you guys so much. Please tell me what was the biggest lesson that you picked up from last week. Announcements really quick. If you are tired of losing in the market, tired of not knowing where to get in, where to get out, when to know when big changes in the market are going to happen, go to joinredpanda.com and you can join the stock club. I appreciate you guys so very much. Let's get right into it. I want more than anything to be a voice of reason for you in the stock market and make this very easy for you. But I am at a place where I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. You have every liberty, every right to do your own research. I'm here to help you. But as we go into this next year, and these next 2 years will be incredibly important for your life, especially financially, you're going to have to decide whether you're going to follow the blueprint given here or if you're going to sit on the sidelines and be afraid. Please put in chat, I will not be afraid. I will execute effortlessly. Now, my favorite segment of the show, Ian told you so. I'm just joking. In 2024, Apple has announced that they will launch an insurance company. And shout out to everyone who tagged me in this post and commented on it on social media at The Master Investor on Instagram. You can look up Ian Dunlap on YouTube, etc. But in 2020, some of you asked me, like, how did you see this company coming for this company? And the real formula I will wait to probably give at Market Mondays Live. Please go get your tickets. But the next evolution for Apple, since they have dominated the consumer space, obviously is B2B or enterprise facing project. And what is more important than healthcare? You can argue, if anyone is doing a SWOT analysis and saying, hey, if I had to take out tech out of my portfolio and replace it with something, what sector would I replace it with? And it would probably be healthcare. Eli Lilly is a company that I love. It has performed incredibly well. But if you're looking at the evolution of Apple, how many more iPhones can they release? How many more iPads can they launch? They are now getting to that wearable space to compete against Meta and Zuckerberg. But the real gold mine at the end of the rainbow is the healthcare space. So since they've been gathering our data off the Apple Watch and all of our sleep data and having us more focused on eliminating distractions even from the iPhone. They've been able to take that data, compile it, and launch a company around that. I believe around 2035 is probably when Tim Cook will retire. If he can get this component done, and I can even argue for those of you who work in the medical space, for those of you that are doctors and nurses, if Apple gets upset and decides to redesign the software systems inside of hospitals, would it make the process, just let's say for charting alone, easier in comparison to the software programs that you use now? There really only are a few business genres that matter. Health, financial or investing is another. Please put in chat what you think the other top 3 are based on revenue globally. Smart move by Apple. It will definitely give them a competitive edge into the landscape for the next 30 or 40 years. And honestly, since they have not innovated much on the technology side, it's something that they need to move into relatively soon. And I got an amazing question. Is there another way to increase my probability as a trader by using the moving average? Most days I get the direction right. So I'm checking a week, I'm checking a day, I'm checking an hour. Is there anything else that I should do? I've talked about this briefly at InvestFest in Atlanta. But also whatever your day trading time frame is. So if you're using a 20-minute, all of those will need to match up. So like the week chart, day chart, hour chart, and 20-minute chart would need to match up before you're able to execute a trade. Secondly, I know I've said it before, but there's a difference between information that you hear, and I really want us to stop getting high off of new information. I know it feels amazing to get exposed to a new piece of information because the joy that we get from it, the elation that we get from it is amazing. But if you don't apply it, it doesn't matter. The only thing that is going to teach you how to trade is getting in a certain number of trades. And if you have been watching the show for a year or two and you haven't gotten in your 300 trades or 100 trades minimum, now is the time to do so. All your revelation, and honestly, and it's not an attack on this brother or anyone else, but the more question a person asks me about any subject usually is representative of they have not done the work in that space to come up with a conclusion on their own. So is there anything else that you should be looking for? Number one, global macro news. So is the market tending to go up or go down? Is oil this year going up or down? Is corn going up or down? Is wheat and palladium going up or down? Is the value of OnlyFans girls going up or down? Everything has a direction. It's either up or down. There's no in between. Either a category or business is growing or dying. Once you know that, now you can go through the week, day, hour, 20-minute, then you can fire away at your trade. And then after that, it's really just being faithful to your trading plan and also the person that you're following in terms of who is mentoring you or giving you that advice. And I saw this amazing quote earlier this week. It said, if you do not separate yourself from your distractions will separate you from your goals and the life that you want. Please put in chat what is stopping you from taking your 300 trades. Whether you work or you go to school or, trading really isn't your thing. Isn't it an amazing feeling to be able to pull money out of the market without having to sell a product, service, get on a whole bunch of calls, whole bunch of conference calls? Like, it is a skill set that you need to add to. It doesn't have to be your primary thing, as it is for me. I will say you are leaving a lot of money on the table and you're leaving yourself open to a lot of disaster if you don't have the skill set underneath your belt. A lot of the reason why I don't worry, because I prepared myself since the last crash. And I want you to have the kind of calmness, peace, serenity, relaxation that I have, knowing if anything else, if no one wants to do business with me, right? And we've been talking about Kanye a lot, and we'll talk about it later tonight. One thing I wish I would have been able to grab Kanye 2 years ago and show him how to trade the market. So that way, any liquidity that he needed to not be attached to Adidas or Nike, he could have provided on his own. So if you do not know how to learn how to trade, you are always going to be at the mercy of someone else for your liquidity and your financial freedom. And I don't want you to have to suffer that fate. Prices have fallen to one of the fastest paces on record. And I'm not telling you this for doom and gloom, but I want you guys to get used to some of these stats. So from the National Bank Housing Price Index plunged 3.1% in September from August. That's the biggest month-to-month plunge ever. So a year and a half ago, when I was telling you, hey, a real estate crash is going to come, there are ways that you will be able to take advantage of that. And as a market has fallen, so for those of you who have not purchased a home yet, or you're waiting to buy your investment property, now will be a good time to start marketing off the prices in real estate the same way you would in stocks if you want to hold for the long term. I want to go to some key VIX levels real quick for you, and I want to give you a homework assignment. And please realize the VIX levels for most people represent fear. For you, I want them to represent opportunity. So the VIX levels just really represent fear. And it's an indicator for when people are worried about where the market is going to be. Even if you don't know when to get in based on the price of the stock, even though I give them to you here on the show, if you mark off these levels, you'll know when you should start to look to get into the market. And before we get to these levels, you shouldn't panic. So if you know when to get in, because I'm telling you, and these levels, I think it will make your investing journey a hell of a lot easier. But let me guide you through them really quickly. So a really quick way when you go to the VIX is to mark off the top 5 highest prices that you see in the market. So of course, this is one, and then we have these 3 here that were hit. So 85, 47, and you can draw a range here. So let's say from 83 to 85. If the market got to these levels, this is 2020, that would be a place that you would look to buy. Second level would be, let's say, let me scoot this over for you. Let's say about $58.29. This would be another level here. Okay, and then let's say hypothetically, if we got to, and this is really interesting because here, here, and here, this price was hit 3 separate times. So if we look back here in 2015, 2018, early in 2020, this price of $49.41 had been hit 3 times. This is like a very key level that has been hit 3 times. This is what you would call a triple top. This has happened 3 times. And then of course in 2020, it broke through and went from that 49 level up to 85. So when you see these VIX levels, let's say you set an alert, and let's say you see that we get above this $49.41 level on the VIX, that would be a time that you will want to look to buy the S&P 500 or any stock if it's in the top 2 of its industry. And if it's in tech, healthcare, I want to be very careful because I don't want you to buy like marijuana company and then all of a sudden this strategy doesn't work. So like a top 3 sector, and buy the top 2 companies in it. And if these prices push above, so let's say hypothetically, I think it will, but if next week, if we break above and go from 29.69 and we break above 49 and get to 60, this would be an area I would look to start to buy the stock market for the long term. Now, the most important lesson for you and homework assignment is I want you to go back over the last 20 years and figure out what are the top 5 highest prices the VIX has ever achieved. So if the market is ever, because a lot of times when the market takes a turn for the worst and people are surprised, it's only because they didn't prepare while the market was doing incredibly well. So if you have these prices marked off in advance, they won't scare you as much. And then you will start to have a certain level of excitement when it's at like a doomsday kind of level. So if I got an alert hypothetically on Zillow and it told me a house in, let's say Gary, Indiana, went on sale for $6,000, and normally that house is $35,000, to me that's a hell of a steal. These VIX levels really tell you the times that you should be staying and looking to buy in the market, and when they hit lows is times when the market is not at a level in which you should consider buying. Let me go back to the chart real quick so I can show this. So if you look down here, this is April of 2020. This is here June of 2020. We were constantly at like $14, $15 in the market down here across the board. When the VIX is this low, and the low of the last 5 years is 856, that is telling you that when volatility is low, that is the calm before the storm. Then you can see in 2020, we stayed low because of quantitative easing. And then once we had a little issue with Corona, which was the canary and the coal mine scenario, we shot up to 85 and then we slid back down. VIX came back down. Now we went back to these same lows again. And if I compare it to the S&P 500, let's look at it. So when the VIX was low, we had all this upward movement consistently, month over month. And then when the VIX starts to move to the upper side, the market then slides back down. So you don't ever have to guess. You don't have to worry about opinion or conjecture or spin. You really want to look at these two things. What is the price of the VIX? Number two, is it at a low? If it's at a low, that's when you have to start to get concerned about buying at a bad price. If the VIX is at a high or close towards a high, that's when you want to look to begin to buy high quality companies. And that's really the easiest 3-step system to be able to know when to buy in the marketplace. So when I meet a lot of you guys in public, and I can't wait to see you at Market Mondays Live in Madison Square, please go get your tickets. And in London, a lot of you are asking me, like, historically, what are you looking at? And this is going to be my last time saying it. Your best bet is to go look back 30 to 50 years on a stock, because you really get to study the history of an asset class. So if you look back here in 1987, this is the year my brother was born. This is the year that I tell you that Par Tudor Jones made all that money during the crash. The VIX got to $172.79. Trust me, the world was on fire, and everyone, this is like 100 times worse than what the market is like right now. If you look at all of these peaks, 1987, if we go to 1989, here is October of 97, 2001. And I know I've told you this before, from 99 to 2001, things were really tough. The attacks on 9/11, of course, sent the market spiraling, because it was spiraling before then. Then if we go to 2002, 5 times it hit this key level over and over again of $48.62, which is a little bit less than the area we called off earlier, 49 and some change. So this 48 to 49 area is a really key level in the VIX. Then we go to 2008, it shot up to $87, nowhere near where the price we were in 1987. But during all of these times, if you would have bought, and let's say you would have known to invest in the market every single year, in each of these dips, in each of these peaks in the VIX, you would have historically made money 100% of the time if you held for a 7-year period. It's not that complicated. But number one, you have to go study that 30-year period over and over and over again for every asset class that you are invested in. And then after that, you want to look and identify what the peak of the market is. And even for stocks, you need to go mark off homework assignment. The top 15 companies that you really love, go mark off every peak so you don't buy at those areas. How many of you would have been better off if you would have done your homework on whatever 5 or 10 companies and say, hey, once it gets 10% away from this high, I'm not touching it, I'm not looking at it. This is a secret that will help you forever. And honestly, for me, 5 or 6 years ago, I was sitting in the movie theater. I was going through Thinkorswim. When I did the same exact exercise, I marked off a certain amount of key levels in which it told me to buy, and it helped my trading tremendously and when to buy long term. And I hope it does the same. And quick question for you. Why are you not reading every single report that the top 5 best hedge funds are putting out? I talked to Stock Club about this last week, but when AMC and GameStop was on fire, and the whole plan was for crypto to take over the banks, and AMC and GameStop would revolutionize retail investing, Barclays, they put out a strategy to elicit retail buyers to buy more, and the hedge fund would make money as the stock was going up and trading it on the way down. Goldman Sachs, Citadel, JP Morgan, Barclays, every quarterly report that they put out on what they're doing, you should read. Now, this is for my traders who really are in the weeds, really want to be great at this. If you are not familiar with the strategy that they are running, in this case, it was a strategy. Why are you not looking and seeing what your competitors are doing? Not only as a retail investor, and you may think, hey, I don't need to know that. I don't want to work for a hedge fund or trade for a prop firm. But if you know how, because in every trade, there's always a winner or loser, and there's always opponents that you have. So if I know hypothetically that in a zero interest rate environment, majority of all the big money in the world is going to be invested heavily in tech, it does help my 2 tech, 2 index strategy tremendously. And if I know when they stop buying, that would tell me also when to stop buying. For those of you in particular that do options, it would help you probably get anywhere from 300 to 600% more return over a 2-year period if you knew what they were doing. I would argue to say, if you want to make any real money and truly have financial freedom, if you're trading and you do not know what strategies they are running, and I hate to say it, and it will always be true, the hedge funds and banks will always have more power than any retail traders just because they're putting more money into the system. You have to know how they're trading to be able to have an edge. But what an amazing feeling it is to know and also be able to work that into your system. Next year, we're going to talk about it a little bit more in Market Mondays. Definitely we are. But for sure, I want you to be able to trade at least 3 or 4 ways. You have to be able to make money whether the market is going down, whether it is going up, whether it is sideways. And especially when we have a bunch of volatility like we do now, talks about it at InvestFest in Atlanta. You need to be able to trade 4 or 5 things at one time to be able to produce higher gains in a shorter period of time. And putting on multiple trades at one time also is a hedging strategy. So if you're long oil, short ES, NASDAQ, short bonds, maybe long natural gas. I went into this in more detail, Stock Club this past Tuesday. But please write down what are the 6 instruments or assets that you would trade in 2023 to be able to give you wins regardless of what the market does. The truth is you have to produce, especially for the men. Man, I don't care if the market is down. If the market is down for 5 years, what are you going to tell your family when it's time to pay bills? Baby, I can't pay the bills because the market's been down and now my trading strategy is effed up. Nope, it's not going to fly. It is not going to fly. In any market condition, if they're playing 2-3 zone, you got to learn how to shoot. If they're guarding you close, man, you better have some handle and be able to go by and finish. If they're sagging off you, tween, step back, boy, light their ass up. This is no different. Right now, are you and your trading strategy calibrated to be able to make 6 figures in a year, in a month, in a week, in a day, when you want to? If not, that's what you have to fix. And I'm not big on inspiration. I think inspiration is overrated. But there are 4 documentaries going into 2023 that I need you to check out. Number 1 is Carl Icahn's documentary. You can check that out on HBO Max. I would argue without Carl Icahn, and for those of you who don't know, Trap told us when he was on Budden's podcast, and a lot of investors know, but I want to give my guy credit. Shout out to Trap. I can't wait to hang out with you in London and be able to kick it and kill it on stage. Please get your tickets to InvestFest Europe. But the movie Wall Street is based off of the actions that Carl Icahn took in the early 1980s. So without that inspiration, we wouldn't have a Diddy, Jay-Z, P from QC, Birdman. He was the first person in American history to kind of be known for taking the business, breaking it down, selling it into parts. Fascinating story for all of you that love investing and have true aspirations of doing something incredibly big. His blueprint is one that you need to look at and take notes on and follow. Number 2, Inside Job. If you have not seen that documentary, please do so. I know it's centered around what happened in 2007 and 2008, but the lessons are applicable here in this market. Number 3, Breaking the Bank. Another great documentary about the crisis of the last recession. And even for my creators, I know sometimes when I go through these financial docs, some of the people are like, I don't need to know that because it really doesn't apply. I'm trying to work on XYZ. Every business that you are in is centered around finance. And either you're going to learn some of these tactics and tricks for your betterment, or you're going to be on the other side of the table complaining that you are getting robbed by people who know how to use these tactics. You got to pick. And especially in a recession, it is even more entrenched in the mind of every company. Who can we prey upon to get the most gains from? And it's usually those who have not equipped themselves with the information to shield themselves from being robbed. We have a lot of talks about culture vultures and people taking advantage of the community. And meanwhile, shout out to the good folks that matter. Everyone's like, yo, upload more reels. I said it earlier. The only reason we have so many entrepreneurs right now is because the American business system cannot support the number of people that we have in the United States of America, and these companies cannot fulfill enough jobs. I remember when my grandparents talked about this thing called a pension, and in this generation, I don't even think most people know what the definition of a pension or pension fund is. Social Security is being ran into the ground, and I believe in 30 or 40 more years, the whole 401k system is going to blow up as well. You have to protect you. Nobody's coming to save you. If you end up broke, no one gives a damn. Trust me. You don't believe me? Text 5 people right now and say, man, I need $5,000 for these boys coming to kill me. And watch how many people just say, baby, I'm going to pray for you. God going to make a way. They won't make a way to cash up you, but God going to make a way. No one cares. You come save you. And a lot of times when you do the work, God will for real find a way. But you got to put in that work first. I wish I can get a person credit for this question. My apologies for not taking it down. But I did get an incredible question of what would I tell myself at the age of 21. It's a popular question, like amongst shows and podcasts. So I kind of broke them down into categories. Number 1, any fear that you have that does not kill you usually is an illusion. I want, and anyone around me will tell you this, I'm really big on going from the idea or being given that inkling of an idea, what y'all call a child, to executing upon it, because sometimes we can take so long to execute upon an idea that we end up aborting that greatness out of fear. What else would I tell myself? As far as life, man, map out what you want. A lot of times I hesitated to do things worrying about what other people. Yeah, truth be told, you just have to map out and go after what you want. Like, if you couldn't fail, if no one would tell you no, what would you push to do? And I know it's easier said than done, but I will be honest with you. It sucks to have a goal where you were like, this wasn't the real goal, but I hit it, and now I should have put the same effort into achieving the real thing I was going after. Relationships, love with your head, not with your heart. And fellas, please be aware, the person that you picked to be in a relationship with will have one of the biggest impacts on your life, whether you know it or not. Kudos to anyone I've encountered prior to, but I'm just telling you honestly, man, if some of the people that I was around or dated were still around, I would not be able to hit these new benchmarks that I did in my life. So and a lot of times people ask, hey, like, how do you know if a relationships work? I don't know. I'm not the expert on the relationships. I'll leave that to other people. But if you feel, I'm gonna just be real. If you were by yourself and your business and you were single and you were doing better, and all of a sudden you got into a relationship and things are slowing down, opportunities are slowing down, it's usually a sign that person is insecure of your success. Whoever you date, and it's not just about the money. It's not just about that. But you should be able to look at your bank account or your business or your life and say, hey, I got with this person on this date, and then as a result, shit went a hell of a lot better. Everything is either growing or dying. And as far as health, put more time into health, happiness, wellness. The origins of wealth came from health first, and over the last 100 years, that has gotten perverted. But most importantly, on boundaries, I would tell myself at 21, set incredibly hard boundaries, and under no circumstances let anyone violate them. I got an amazing question. Is it okay to buy $200K worth of S&P and cash out in 15 years? The answer is yes. You still want to wait for the right price, but if you have a chunk of money and if you can hold for a 15-year period, man, I'll tell you, you are going to have some of your best days ever financially, for sure. Everyone please put in chat, safety in a stock is sexy. So even if it only grows at 10 or 15%, it is better than being down 40, 50% and having to worry about it, because you still have to look at the return on time that you're getting for these investments as well. And on the fundamental side, when you're looking at what to look at when you're evaluating a company, these are some things I want you to add. So number one, I want you to look at the net margin of a company. I like companies with higher net margins, for sure. Number two, do they have a superior product or service that their customer base feels is superior and they will not easily switch to another company based on price? So we talked about this with Apple's ecosystem. CrowdStrike is another example. But you don't want to heavily invest into a business that easily loses customers over small or incremental price changes. Number three, market share. In that space, what percentage of that pie do they own? Number four, pricing model. Pricing does matter. And I'm even seeing people pop up now saying, hey man, if Netflix is charging $350 for password sharing and it's $6.99 a month for ads, I'm not going to subscribe. And in my mind, I'm like, they're paying $40 million for a TV show. Is that not worth sitting through one ad? But that's the logical, enterprising side of my brain. And this is why I always say, if you are going to start off based on price being low, you're going to die based on a low price unless your distribution system is absolutely incredible and those margins are incredibly high. Next, what is the percentage of probability of expansion into another territory that no one sees coming? So Apple going into the healthcare and health insurance space, is a prime example of that. And anyone who's been familiar with Apple or Microsoft or Amazon, so Amazon has decided to go on the pharmaceutical pill side of it. Microsoft, I think, on the enterprise side, will probably push into that software component more so than Apple will. Apple, health insurance, great. And finally, what is the institutional ownership in that company? So when I'm looking at a company, if a bunch of institutions, banks, hedge funds, governments are not investing in it, I don't think it's a wise investment to pursue. All right, so let's go through Warren Buffett's portfolio real quick. Number one, and I'm going to go by the percentage that he owns in each for his portfolio. Number one is Apple, of course, my baby. I love this stock a lot. So, yes. Number two is Bank of America. I don't love Bank of America, but he has a considerable position in them. The price in which he got in was pretty good. So, for his portfolio, strong. But I don't love it overall. But it is smart to have some bank exposure in times like this when interest rates are higher. Coca-Cola, he's had this forever. It's not a primary company that I would invest in long term. But, so I would say no. Chevron. Really hard to argue with the performance of this company over the last couple of months, and of course this month has been on a tear. It went from 148 to right now 173.19. Damn, that's a hell of a return over a short period of time for oil and gas. And this is the thing, when you have interest in the company, so for a long period of time, Chevron was flat. It stayed within this range forever. So from 134 was the top to 71. It stayed there from 2014 to pretty much 2020. This is why I tell you guys I want you to buy at the deep edges. So if you know the best times would be able to buy down here, like let's say just at 71 bucks. Anytime you were buying at 128 or 130, terrible. If you load it up from 70 to 75 bucks, great. Now it's at 173. Anything past that, of course, you can't touch. I would not make a new entry into it right now. And then going out a little bit further, if we look at 2008, the top was 105. So he got in at one of the best prices. And if you can see, going back to that theory of market off the 5 biggest highs, 104 was one of them. If we look here, 108 was another. Up here, 134 was another. So in 2019, it got back to that same level. And if you look for Chevron, it always has these kind of bottom out moments. So here, once again in 2020 here, and then a tremendous move to the upside. I mean, it's been in a hell of a range for a long period of time. If you look, here was the top. These were the bottoms. These built up a nice channel. So when prices just ranged through and we finally had a breakout move to the upside. And those channels, you need to make sure that you're buying at the best prices and being patient and waiting, no matter what anyone else says. Let's look at American Express. American Express, yes, I like for the long term. All of these are 5-year holds. American Express is a pretty good company. Kraft, don't love as much. I understand why he has exposure to it, but I don't like it. Oxy Petroleum, great trade, great moves, great swing to the upside. If we can see back in 2011, that high was 117.89. I couldn't tell him what to do, but if I was talking to second command over at Berkshire, I would probably say to get out around 95 bucks with the size that they have. I mean, if they got in at 25 bucks or 15, they've had a great return. But if you look, that high bid at 117 would give me a lot of trepidation to look to hold it past that period of time. Let's look at US Bank Corp. And if US Bank Corp, don't love. Solid, but I don't love. Can someone put in chat the primary reason why Warren is heavily invested into the banking sector? Let's look at Activision Blizzard. I like Activision Blizzard, but it probably will slide back down to maybe like that 45 area More than likely 41 is what the area I would look to load the boat. Long term, I like it, but with spending down, retail pressure down, I don't love it. Definitely not at this price, but Activision I do like for the long term. HP, don't like. Let's look at DaVita. Ticker is DVA. DaVita is in the healthcare space. I do like. Ton of upside. If we go back to 1999, the lowest price it was at was 69 cents. It's currently at $89.99. And over the last few years, it has had a remarkable run up. So if he's had this for a while, he is doing pretty good in that. Citi, don't like Citi. Now, of course, this is just a stock split, but if you look throughout the course of time, this is since the last recession. Citi has really stayed within a range of $81 to like 32. This is the famous trade that I told you Art got in back in 2008, but that is a hell of a range. A decent swing trade, but I would not hold it for a long period of time. Let's look at Kroger. Kroger is solid. Do not love VeriSign. Let's look at that. VeriSign is solid. You guys can put this on your watch list. Stock Club members, if you're interested in it, I will put a price in for us next week. But VeriSign is a good company. It's a good charter. Has potential. Definitely has potential. It's at 330.40 now. Telecom and communication companies are very tough as a sector. I'm not the biggest fan. Let's look at Paramount Global. No, that's a hell no. Right now. GM. Don't love. If we get so companies like GM, Ford are C-level companies. If you are going to buy into a C-level company, you have to buy it at the absolute best price possible. And in this case, definitely have to go Class A shares. Like Ford had a nice run up, then started to slide down. Nah, GM, I don't love. I wouldn't recommend putting into your portfolio. Visa, you guys know historically, I do like a lot. Let's look at Liberty. Ironically enough, I need to do more research on this company, but this is the reason why I love doing these exercises and seeing what people are buying. Of course, great run in 2020, but this is a sleeper that not many people have talked about. I have to see what percentage this is used in this portfolio, but this is one I have not heard talked about a lot. You can definitely put this on your watch list. Let's go to MasterCard. I don't know. If I have to pick between American Express and Visa and MasterCard, I'm definitely going to go Visa first, just because the number of users in the ecosystem, then AXP. There's no really reason to use this right now. Let's go AON. AON is a solid move. Solid move. You can definitely put this on your watch list. Let's go to the next one. Ticker symbol CE. I can see the reason he has in this portfolio. It's gotten beat up. Solid company. Needs to do some more research on the financials, but I will put this one as a maybe. As I'm going through these, what are the main category? Now, this is a sleeper. Ticker MCK. And since 2019, it went from 108.79. It is now at $370.64. And throughout this year, it has been just absolutely kicking ass across the board. These white candles represent upward movement, and you can see that we have clear upside movement, and it doesn't seem like we're going to be stopping anytime soon. And once again, power player in that healthcare space. If we look at United Healthcare, I don't think this is in this portfolio. United Healthcare is doing well. It's going up. Eli Lilly, going well up and to the right. Let me look at Pfizer. Pfizer's down. So if you're looking at McKesson and you're looking at United Healthcare, I know they're not true comps. You don't think Apple is looking at 4 or 5 of those players and saying, hey, if we put our branding, our loyalty, time, energy, effort, resource, money, all the trust we built over these last 30 or 40 years, and we've occupied the space, that we would not be able to take a considerable market share. So if UNH right now is at 533 and Apple is at, after all the stock splits, 147, you don't think that they potentially get 19 to 28% market share in that healthcare space, which I'm sure they're aiming for more, wouldn't push that stock up to the $400 or $500 mark? Absolutely. Of course, let's go to Ally. Ally's taken a fall recently. At the $18 mark, I like $18.51 is a mark where I like to load up the boat. Shout out to Ally. Let's go to Snowflake. Snowflake, I don't see, I like the idea of, I get. The stock has not proven itself out yet. But this is positioned for a move in the future. All right, let's go to T-Mobile. T-Mobile surprisingly has done well for the telecom space. This one is one that I do like. Let's go to Globe Life, ticker GL. Once again, what category is Globe Life in? Ticker GL has done incredibly well. I would definitely add that one to the watch list. Ticker MKO. Don't love. Restoration Hardware. Let's go look at that one. Even though it's on the higher end in a lower interest rate environment, I like it better. But it does tie. Well, what business do they currently own, Berkshire, that pairs well with this business? Please put that in chat. That's a quiz question for tonight. I don't love it for the long term. And retail normally does great after economy recovers. It's not one of the first things I will look to invest in as the market is falling apart. Let's look at Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson is doing relatively well. Mondelez, talked about that before. I would argue it is a sleeper that most people have not focused on because it is an international stock, but I did talk about this one in 2020. And let's look at P&G to close out. Solid. Can you guys see why I often say to focus on the top 2 in the space? You really don't need 4 or 5 stocks inside of the same category over and over again. At some point, it's redundant. And once again, in a recession, there's only a few companies that are really going to bounce to the upside. But you really need to keep your attention on the companies on the institutional side, the hedge funds, the banks, what they are looking to buy. But once again, I want to tell you I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much. What was the biggest lesson you learned tonight? And it's most important, after this, take notes, then go apply. All the answers that you really want, you are going to get revealed to you by doing. You're not going to learn by endlessly asking questions. It is up to you to go do. For my traders, find one new edge a week. Look at that beautiful ass wave. As we are continuing this down cycle, find one new edge per week that will allow you to be a better trader to get more gains in the marketplace. I know for some, this is a terrifying time. study wave patterns more, moon cycles more. Anything regarding, I'm telling you, wave patterns are going to help you understand the cycles of the market, and the bigger the wave, the better. Go and look historically at 2008. What are the top 15 companies that fell apart, and how long did it take them to recover by sector? So if you're investing in banking and you're saying, hey, the bank should do well in this recession, great. Compare what the interest rates were by decade to know and get an average when banks are going to recover, when tech is going to recover, and your answers will be there. I love you all. There's really nothing else to teach. It is time for you to go do. For those of you that I will see in London, I love you. I appreciate you. I cannot wait to connect, and I cannot wait to link. Stock Club family, I'll be sure to drop a whole bunch of voice notes and gems. I cannot wait to see you there. I cannot wait to see you at Market Mondays in Madison Square. I feel I have given my all in every instance to teach you every secret that I know. Now I need you to go do the research on your own and bring me back the information that you've ascertained from doing the work. For my traders, trade less with bigger size and hunt for bigger edge. I don't want to see you in 3 or 4 months and you're still saying, hey, I'm trading 5 contracts, 7, 10. Opportunity is too big. And I know a lot of you been hitting me and say, everyone's not meant to go with you can't. I feel you. But damn, I'm going to try and at least throw a lob out to some of you and say, hey, do more. Do better. Be more fearless in approach. Trading and investing is not hard. And once you have your trades on, please get up and walk away. Because those same trades you can get up and walk away from will allow you to walk away from some opportunities, projects that you don't want to be involved with. But the choice is yours, like I said at the top of this presentation. I'm not here to convince you or anyone else of anything. You can do whatever the hell you want. I am just going to tell you what I am going to do in the process. What's the number one goal that you're looking to achieve over the next 10 years? Mine is still the same. To get the highest returns of any investor or trader on earth, excluding nobody. Once you have your clear goal, that'll be your compass. And that'll make putting in the time on this journey a lot easier for you. I love you guys. Over and out.
All right. That was amazing.
Outstanding.
Yes.
Outstanding.
Presentation, Ian.
Yeah, that it's the calming voice. I almost forgot how calming the voice is over these presentations. It makes it feel like, oh, I can do this.
Or is it
Yes.
Ian presentation? Ian presentation. That kind of rhymes. Ian presentation. That's a new name. Ian presentation.
Troy thinking about it. Audience, what do you say?
I'm thinking
Troy's
about
pondering.
Ian presentation.
it.
The presentation. It's like going to the Rucker. Like you gotta have a name. Like the presentation. That's your name.
The presentation. Okay.
Ian presentation.
Mm.
The presentation.
Man, I can't wait to be in Trap Get on that stage, boy. It's gonna be 3 in a row. Unlike the Lakers 0-3. Shout out Dame.
Shout out to
Ah,
LeBron.
Boy,
you
Lakers
might-
gotta get
Shout
it
out to
together.
LeBron James.
You might have seen us.
We went to the game. Tough. The referees actually did him a disservice by calling that wasn't a flop. That was actually a
Oh,
foul.
you talking about the
Yeah.
offensive foul?
That was actually a foul.
Yeah. I looked at you. I told you it's Dame time.
Shout out to Bronny.
Yeah.
Man.
Couldn't get
And
it
rest in
done.
peace, Tony Brown, too, who recently passed. NBA ref.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rest in peace for
rest in
sure.
peace to him. He was a good
Absolutely.
brother.
For
Absolutely.
sure. All right. So that was an amazing presentation per usual. So we got a couple of trending topics that we're going to talk about. But before that, Market Mondays live, Madison Square Garden.
Wait.
Let's just talk about this briefly. Madison Square Garden, November 27th. November 27th. Understand what's going on here. That is Black Friday weekend. We got Josh Brown will be in the building.
Mhm.
We got the Einstein of Wall Street. Peter Tuckman will be in the building.
Yes.
Shout out to the brother.
Yes. We have Don Peebles.
Yes.
Legendary.
billionaire real estate developer.
Shout out to Don. He just received his Lifetime Achievement Award at the Griot Awards. So shout out to Don.
Congratulations.
We were part of that.
We were in that presentation.
Yeah, presented him with the award. So shout out to him.
That's fire.
Shout out to my guy Mouse Jones.
I love Mouse. Mouse gonna have me so hyped up, boy.
Trap karaoke. We have secured a performer, but I can't say it. Can't say it yet. I can't say it yet. Just understand that.
Everybody in chat, please drop the name
right now.
When it comes to New
drop
York,
the name.
when it comes to New York City, let's just say this. When it comes to New York City, and when it comes to lyrical assassin, highly respected, never lost.
Never lost.
I mean,
Never
if
they saw
Never
the
lost.
promo for this,
Never lost.
it was very clear.
But that's actually a good clue.
Yeah,
because
that's you probably just gave it away.
a few people have lost. Even the most highly respected people of all time
Just say his name.
might have lost. Now I can't say his name yet.
No, I'm talking about who you saying the highest respected people that have lost.
I'm just saying.
I know you're talking
People,
about.
some people have lost, but this gentleman
I got strong.
has
Undefeated.
never lost.
I told y'all jerseys will be hung
Yes.
on 27th of November. Banners will go up.
It's gonna be a night to remember, man. I don't know I'm not sure why you would not want to come. Yeah, you know,
If you don't come, you don't want to be rich. I'm being real.
basically,
That's it.
basically,
pretty much.
basically,
Pretty much.
But,
Your choice.
yeah, we got next week. Hopefully by next week we'll be able to announce the musical side.
And the big boy.
Well,
Easy.
yeah, we got to get the update on that too.
Oh yeah, as soon as we send it over, we'll be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is the part
That's-
usually why I ruin the surprise. I'm not this week. Tune in next week though. 'Cause when
Next
we
week.
announce this, boy, there will be no tickets. We may have to do a night too.
raising
telling
ticket
y'all.
prices. Ticket prices will be raised.
Inflation.
Yes,
Inflation
even with 900 per ticket.
gave y'all 6 weeks. Inflation will kick in
Mhm.
at some point, probably next week. So yeah, link in bio, Market Mondays, live show, the last show of the year, a night to remember, Madison Square Garden. Woo! All right.
Ric Flair.
Woo!
Hey,
Let's get into this. Q&A.
I gotta ask y'all. Y'all look like y'all had a great time. Y'all glowing. Y'all went and got your facials, chemical peels, right? Magic was there. So y'all with Jalen.
Shout out to Magic. Shout out to Jalen.
What are like the 3 big lessons that you took away from being in a room? Because we all have a glow when we be around people we're inspired by, right? Both of y'all are like Pikachu beaming right now. What are like 3 big lessons you took away from the event yesterday?
Yeah, for sure. I think once again, relationships is extremely important. And you know, we met a few other people that we didn't take pictures with, like Ben Horowitz. That was my first time actually meeting him. He probably was the richest person there.
Absolutely.
If you don't know who
Yes.
Ben, if you
Yes,
don't
he
know
was.
who Ben Horowitz is the CEO, co-CEO of
Andreessen
Andreessen.
Horowitz.
Andreessen Horowitz, which is one of the top venture capital firms in the world. I think he's worth like $20 billion, something like that. His net worth is like $20 billion.
Mhm.
He's the one that got Nas into venture capital. He's the one that got Kanye, like a lot of the artists, because he's a really big hip hop fan.
He's a hip hop head. We
Yeah.
actually had a conversation with him last month at the CLF event, and we talked about KRS-One, Chuck D, and MC Shan for like 20 minutes. And
I know we always talk about people we invite to the cookout. Ben is cooking at the cookout.
Oh, I was like, I was blown away. He was just like, yeah. And then we ran into Fab Five Freddy, and he's like, that's one of my best friends in the world. I'm just like, yo, this
That's
is
dope.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to him. Shout out to Ben Horowitz.
But it was a bunch of people there. Shout out to Detavio. Shout
Yeah.
out to a bunch of people. Detavio's the head of Revolve. If anybody
Yeah.
doesn't know who Detavio is, great guy, by the way. But long story short, I learned that just relationships is extremely important, and that's the real key. Because even the Magic situation, how that came about was, we saw Magic, and Jalen. Obviously, we know Jalen Rose because we just interviewed Jalen Rose. So I'm like, all right, you can always walk up to somebody and just introduce yourself, but it doesn't really. It's not the
Hit
same,
the same.
as
Yeah.
if you get an introduction. So I'm like, yo, Jay, can you do me a favor? He's like, what's up? I'm like, can you introduce us to Magic? He's like, yeah, that's easy. So he introduced us to Magic, And Magic was super cool. And we actually had a conversation with him. Like we was talking, and he was talking about financial literacy. He's like, it's important business, let's chop it up. He's like, and then he did something that he did a few things that was very very stuck out to me. So I had a glass of wine in my hand. So we like, let's take this picture. He's like, but put the glass of wine down. He's like, you're a businessman. Like you always want to be seen in the proper light. He's like, don't let anybody discredit you, and they'll use anything to discredit you. So he's like, just put the glass of wine down, and we can take the picture. So I'm like, okay, that's something that, stuck out to me because I wasn't thinking about it, but I understood where he's coming from with that. And then he did something that a lot of people do, that even I do afterwards. So Jalen's introducing us. He gives us the whole plug, and Magic, like, we talking to him. And afterwards, he's like, Jalen, like, link it up. And once again, that goes back to a relationship. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, so now Jalen tell me like, yeah, I'm gonna link it up with y'all, So you gotta have, if let's say we did some bad business with Jalen Rose, or we put out a clip and tried to, sensationalize something just to get some views, it might have helped us in the short term, but look at the bridge that we would have
hurt in the long term. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that relationship is extremely, we always preach that all the time, but people I don't think they get it yet. Like,
yeah, can I add to your bridge?
Yeah. Can I ask one quick question for you before you jump in? Because I think this is
really go ahead.
Relationships in comparison to stock are how much more valuable if you have to put a multiple on it? 10x, 100x?
It's 100x. It's everything.
The highest multiple.
It's everything.
Yeah.
The highest multiple.
It's everything.
My bad, Trevor. Go ahead. I needed to hit that point.
Because, so that was the bridge, right? If we're climbing up the bridge, right? Or the ladder in that sense, right? Jalen and Magic, like, you know what I'm saying? Just having that relationship. But also, we put out an episode last week with Mario Kelly, who's from Detroit. And we actually ran into him in Chicago, and he was telling us about the impact that the episode has had and all the feedback he's been getting from it. And he said, one of the things I would love to do is to get with Jalen. Like, I want to clean a school. Yeah. So I was telling Jalen, I'm like, we just put out this episode with this guy from Detroit. He has every arena in the city. And I said, he's trying to connect with you. He was like, that's crazy. Because the first thing I thought when you said that he has a staff agency and cleaning is, I want him to come work at the school. So now we're going to be able to bridge that now. So now like two people who would just put out an episode from the same city and both can add value to each other are now going to do that. So that's just the power of relationships and the power of just networking, just being in the right place at all the time, man. It's incredible.
And then I'll add a few more things to the relationship thing. So we see Magic, but we also see Tyler Perry.
I was going to go there.
Oh yeah.
I was going to go. So the power relationship, but the power of keeping having integrity. And it goes to a long, long way. So the first thing we did when we got to the event is I just happened to run into one of his assistants, Chantel, and she recognized us and said, "Hey, I love you guys. You guys are so great, so professional. Loved all the stuff that you did for Mr. Perry. He's about to show up." I'm like, "Oh wait, he's about to show up. This is perfect. Yeah. We just walked in and now he's coming here." And as he came to the event and she ran into us again, she stopped him and said, "Hey, there goes Earn Your Leisure." And he was like, "Oh my gosh." Like, it was just that automatic, hey, I'm connected with these guys. We did this, obviously we did InvestFest and that was a huge success. But the fact that we treated every email, every interaction with integrity, and we were people of our word with everything we did with him. Yeah. She was like, "Look, you have to stop because that's Earn Your Leisure," right? Everybody there wanted his attention, but she was like, "No, let's just stop." And he was gracious enough to have a brief conversation with us and take the picture and, and exchange that, if we ever need anything in the future, just let them know.
No, it was actually a good conversation because when I told him, he was, we was talking about InvestFest and he was asking us, everything that was going on. And I said, congratulations. He just put out a new movie. And I was like, congratulations. And I'm like, if there's anything that we can do to ever help you, just let us know. And he stopped for a minute. And he looked at me and he was like, "Yeah, nah, I'm gonna hold you to that." He's like, I'm gonna need something. Like, he's like it, the way he said it was like, he didn't expect me to say that.
Because most people don't look to help.
Yeah. But he was
always looking to take.
But it's like, now that you do say that, you actually can add some value. So let me think about how you can add value. And then whatever he gonna ask us to do, of course, that's nothing to do. But I just feel like, that's once again, InvestFest, that comes from InvestFest, but InvestFest relationship comes from Steve Harvey. Mm-hmm. Steve Harvey relationship comes from Tabiti. That comes from Nicole at iHeart. So Domino effect, domino effect, domino effect. So it's like,
Compound interest on relationship.
and you don't know how that's gonna spin. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it's like, all right, if we just said Nicole, and you might not, you never know that Nicole is gonna introduce you to this person that's gonna introduce you to Steve Harvey,
Yep.
and Steve Harvey's gonna introduce you to Tyler Perry. Like, if let's say we would have just been like nasty to Nicole, right? None of that happens.
Yeah, you never know who knows
That's
who.
the butterfly effect that you don't see. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see, you just think you're talking to one person,
Yeah.
but you don't know you're talking to 10 different people.
People, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
1000% true. And that's the thing. Like, just even, and it's not just about like, hey, she can help us book talent. Like, I call her just to check in to make sure everything's good. It's like having those type of relationships, it extends far beyond any type of show or podcast. It's a positive relationship. And so if there's anything that ever comes up, oh, hey, I got this situation in Jamaica that, you know, you guys might be interested in. Of course, we're going to be at the top of our mind just based on that relationship. But another relationship too, just talking on that, was we went to Howard in April, and we were on a panel, and you know, a representative from Shea Moisture was there, and she actually was at the gala again last night. And that relationship that we just established with her, she was like, you guys are great. We have to do something with you. We have to. You know, a month prior, we were just with the CEO of Shea Moisture, Rich Dennison, was like, he was saying the same thing. Fast forward, we met the CEO of Essence Festival last night or the other night, and it was just like, wow, this is like 360. This thing is happening. It's like a revolving door of just every time we step into another space, we're meeting somebody and we're networking again. And now more relationships are being fostered. So when people are like, yo, you guys are everywhere, yeah, we're very intentional about being everywhere, because you never know who you're gonna run
You
into.
can't connect with everybody via DM or on replays.
Nah, you got some things you got to do in person, man.
And it's like, today, this was a good week because this summarizes the whole journey for us. Like, yeah, we in Hollywood and we connected with all of those people, but we also in the same week was in Columbus, Ohio, at a high school. At a high school in Columbus, Ohio, the furthest thing away from Hollywood as possible, right? And then we go to Chicago. And so it's like, you got to keep that balance too, because ultimately the people have championed us, and the people have elevated us to even be able to reach Tyler Perry, Steve Harvey, different things of that nature. So we can't just forget about that. That's important.
Yeah.
That's what Kanye
just
did. And,
that's just as important as us going to a gala with all of
more
these
important, I would
celebrities.
argue, because if the people champion you,
Yeah, for sure.
that groundswell can push you in the doors that, you know, people
Sure.
are always like, well, why are you stopping and talking? I'm like, you have to.
No, you have to. And
Yeah.
so I just want to put that out there too, because we saying this and this, you know, you can't forget what else happened. And, you know, like I said, even now, we're in high schools in Columbus, Ohio on a Wednesday night. And shout out to everybody in Columbus. The love was amazing. And shout out to everybody in Chicago. But, you know, you got to do it all. You got to do it all. It's like a politician. That's why I always give the politician. Like, a politician will give like a speech in, you know, Huntsville, Alabama, and then they'll be at a black tie dinner in New York City for $10,000 a plate with every single billionaire, you know, because they're both important. They're both important. You got to be able to hit all spectrums.
Yeah. And while you said Columbus, Ohio, shout out to Maurice Claret.
Shout out to Maurice
You know, just
Claret,
another just relationship that's just been fostered. He actually introduced me to somebody that, you know, I grew up just watching and was one of my favorite players of all time, Clinton Portis. And so we connected just because of more. Exactly. And, you know, he's had some, his story is just so compelling. I'll just leave it at that. But, you know, I offer just, yo, if I can add value to anything you're doing, if you need help with something, just let me know. And he was like, yo, bro, I appreciate that so wholeheartedly. Like, this is somebody I used to wear his jersey and go to, like, I drove to DC to watch these guys play. So it's incredible, man. You never know, man. You just never know.
And for everyone at home listening, if you feel like you can't, you know, I recently saw this on Drink Champs, and a good tip that Meek gave me goes, if you can't fly across the country, become the hottest in your city or neighborhood and just help there. A lot of people always want to know, like, what's the easy formula? It's help those around you. If those around you get traction, you never know who they may know, and it is spread. So don't feel like this is impossible for you to do as well. But if you can, get out there and kiss babies, shake hands like we've been doing.
Do it.
Get your tickets to Invest Fest. Y'all been seeing me hopping on planes going, like, you have to show, like, people can't feel your integrity and spirit online. I'm telling you. A lot more doors are going to open in person. So please write in chat, how many people or events are you going to go to in 2023 to
And,
have your best year ever?
and when you do it, when you add value, don't look for anything in return.
Yes.
Just do it. Like that was one of the things. Like I watched Richard Lawson and Miss Tina Knowles Lawson. The impact that they were having on these young people's lives. It must have been 50 young men and women on stage. Like I would not have known that that was happening if I wasn't there. They're just doing this every day, every week, every month, all year, adding value to young people's lives and encouraging them to be their authentic selves. We had a young lady who gave a just an amazing speech. She actually is a poet now. She said she was reading on a second grade level. Now she's in front of 1,000 people just reading her poem that she just wrote. It was just like that type of impact is not being highlighted, but it's happening. And so just add value. Don't look for anything in return. Just figure out how many people you can impact on a daily basis.
But last thing I want to say about this, and this is Rick Ross said probably the realest thing I ever heard in my life. He was like, yo, y'all want like people that's like super successful, you know, to help you out. He said the analogy that he gave is like, he was like, I don't know if he said a well or ocean. He was like, but like if you want a well, like on like you at the bottom, he's like, somebody that's super rich, super successful, they're not going down to get you. They're not. He's like, they might not even, they're like probably not even gonna look at you. He's like, you got to get to the top, like almost close to them, and then they might stick their hand out like a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's so real because you gotta do the work to put yourself in the room. Just like, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times people look at it the wrong way, where it's like, I gotta get in the room. Yeah, that's half the battle, but you gotta actually provide enough value where you're invited in the room.
Yep.
So don't even worry about nothing else. Just put the blinders on, folk. I promise you, once you get hot, everything, it's the law of inertia. Once you get hot, everything gonna happen for you. Then people are gonna want to work with you. They're gonna reach out to you. You're gonna be able to rub shoulders with different people. I promise you, nobody on that level is coming to save you. They're not going down. They're not going down to get you. I promise you that won't happen. And like I said, like he said, like at the very least, if you little below them, they might like a 6-inch little nut, but
I may throw a little line out to save you.
That's it.
And people will say why. Like even if you take Boosie and Young Blue situation, Boosie found Blue blew up. Now all of a sudden that's not his artist. It happened with Meek and other artists. A lot of times when people are up here, they're afraid to reach down because once they pull you up, what if you're not loyal? It happens a lot. 2001, I was in Grind Family Studio. Shout out C-Boy. He was like, get so hot that nobody on earth can tell you no. It's the best piece of advice that if for those of you that are trying to break out, forget the algorithms, forget funnel hacking and all that. That's the secret. Get so hot that nobody can ignore you.
Undeniably hot.
That is a fact. All right. So let's talk about some investing. What is your investing game plan for 2023?
I want to ask you guys first, but since you asked me, I'll kick it off. I think 2023 will be like in a rebound year. I think we'll be good. I'm gonna go a lot heavier on the buying. I plan to at least double or triple the amount of shares that I buy for 2023 on a long-term side, and then put more automation in when it comes to swing trading and day trading. So those are the three things that I'm really focused on. I want to like run the table this year and get like 72 trades in and go undefeated. That's my goal for 2023. And also find one or two companies that are bound to break out. So this is a good homework assignment. Is the CEO of the company that you're invested in a good CEO when we don't have 0% interest rates? And if you can start to weed out the companies that have never been through this cycle before, it will stop you from investing in 95% of companies. So if you look at like Beyond Meat, they're down 95% from its high, right? That team is not battle tested in a high inflation environment. So those are my three. Automation on a trade and the swing trading side, double or triple the amount of shares. So by the time we get to 27, we'll be okay. And go undefeated for the year. What about you guys?
Yeah, long term, buying at extreme dips, buying dips, long term, uh, index fund, um, ETFs that I believe in, and maybe one or two stocks. But other than that, pretty just back to the basics really, of long term just wealth building.
Yeah.
And I feel like you don't necessarily have to take risks, especially once you have some level of cushion. Um,
Yep.
it's not really
That's a good lesson.
yeah, it's not really necessary to take risks. Um, and you compound interest and 7%. That's what you start talking about real money over the course of time. So a lot of times, you kind of get jaded
Hmm.
by trying to hit home runs every single time, but it's really not probably the best way to go about it.
Hmm.
Buying opportunities for things that are pretty much sure bets, like the S&P 500, and you can just hold it for a very long period of time. I think that we're in position to do that even now. But if it continues this rocky path, then that's a long term strategy
Hmm.
where it's opportunity just to put money in if you have money. But me personally, I'm definitely looking to just do that and just keep adding to that. It's something I've been doing. Like I put money in Microsoft, S&P 500, like XLY, stuff like that, where I just feel comfortable. It's not going to keep me up at night, and I'm not even worried about what's going to happen in the next year or two because I'm looking at it for a long term play, 20 years down the line. So it's just that safety net as far as not
Yep.
risking a lot of capital.
Yeah, I'd say just more strategic investing. Um, Adding to some of the companies that I'm trying to get to 1,000 shares at. I've done that with a few already. And so I actually ran into a young gentleman. He was like, "I finally get why you're doing 1,000 shares." And he was like, "I was
Hmm.
like, why you, why you think I'm saying do 1,000 shares?" He was like, "Because now I could do covered calls." I'm like, "Well, you could do that with 100, but if you get to a
Yeah.
thousand, now you can actually have 10 of them." And so that was part of the strategy, and I'm glad that some people caught that and were doing that. So adding it to a few more companies, getting 1,000 shares, and hopefully getting up to 2,000 at some point. But I'm
Hmm.
really, especially in like right now, obviously, building my custodial accounts for my kids is one of my main focuses going into 2023.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, I've set the long term investment for myself, and they have some shares of some other companies too, but putting more focus in theirs, because we're talking about when we talk long term, obviously in the custodial account, we're talking maybe 15 to 20 years
Yeah.
before they can ever see any type of return, or not any type of return, or hopefully they don't take anything from it in that time. So that's going to be a main focus of mine, and just more strategic investing, finding sectors that are going to have some type of value in this economic downturn. Like we said, that there's going to be a bull market somewhere,
Yeah.
and so just paying attention to that and finding finding spots like we said a few weeks ago when I heard that OPEC news. Okay, there's a spot there. Let me see what we with the right research and the right technicals, if there's something we can do to make a great trade. So just doing that, real strategic about it, more calculated.
Yeah. Well, with the interest rates adjusting and going up, how has it affected your options trades? And have you taken less trades this year in comparison to the year prior?
Yeah, for sure. It's been one of those like sit back and wait, and that's kind of how it was set up anyway. When we were trading our options, we were doing leaps out to 2 years, and so a lot of those leaps are still in play. Obviously, with the pullback, the percentages have gone down because
Yeah.
of like the Nasdaq has pulled back, like we said, 30%, and the S&P is down 23. And so we're aware of that. And sometimes your options trades that you do, they don't pan out that well, right? Like I had a TSM call. I was just looking at my portfolio the other day. I had a number that was in the green, and it was like, all right, well, we see that there's a pullback coming. Let's get a lower number that seemed like it would work, and it didn't. So that's what I said when I said about being more calculated and being more
Yeah.
strategic, things like that. Like so, yeah.
Um,
Less trades definitely though this year.
Less trades for me this year for a few different things. Obviously, because the stock market is down. So, but more important, not even the interest rate thing. I think what really it's it's hard to do two things at one time. So obviously, our schedule has dramatically increased as well. So it's like, you know, you got to see what's your focus. You know, that's important. So my focus is growing a media company and, you know, $1 billion valuation. These are things that's I'm really focused on. I'm not necessarily focused on trading. So what happens is that even if you have a skill set, if you're not focused on it, you can make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so it's like, and this level, you can make mistakes that can cost you a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, people that's focused on it, like if you focused and you're looking at the market every day, all day, and you in front of your computer, but I'm not doing that right now. It's impossible. I'm traveling, I'm doing different shows, I'm doing interviews, you know, doing our show, doing remote show, doing Market Mondays. So
Yeah.
that's why it's like, all right, what's the most intelligent thing to do? For me, the most intelligent thing to do is grow the business, make as much money in the business as possible, and then do safer long-term investments and not have to worry about, because I'm not like I need the money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
But, you know, I feel like, you know, you just have to be careful. And this goes for anybody. Be careful trying to do too many things at one time. Like you're trying to be, you know, a real estate agent, and you're trying to be a day trader, and you're trying to be a social media influencer. Like
And dope boy on the side. Like, bro, you gotta
like, know what I'm
lock
saying?
in
Like,
on something.
Certified lover boy.
nah, for
Yeah.
real,
Half the
man.
time.
Just, you know, just understand, like, you know, it's better to be a master of a one trade or a few trades than a jack of all. So yeah, that's kind of been, you know, my situation. And then, like I said, of course, with the whole market going down, I think I told this story a few times before, but I sold a lot of my options months ago, which was very beneficial. I wish I actually would have sold all of them, but I sold a lot of them. I exited. Once I saw this situation, I said, I'm not playing this game.
Yeah.
Exit, and just hold money. And then I put a lot of that money back into the market, just long-term plays. So, you know, long-term investing, safer plays. That's what I'm into right now. But you know, still have the skill set to trade if I want to. But right now, it's not really a prime. It's
Gotta
not a
focus on the
primary
main
focus.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think on the last episode of this year, I'll tell the trade that I made on January 3rd. I think I told you, Ian, on January 3rd of 2022, to one of the most historic days in my trading career. Real
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
All right. So all right. So Elon plans to lay off 75% of Twitter. This will make the company better or worse? What do you think?
I hate to say it. Elon is going to get on this car icon corporate raider thing. I think it's a brilliant move. I think Twitter has been too comfortable with not having to perform at a high level. Shout out 19 Keys. I think as a result, those that are there and that remain, they are going to have to bring a tremendous amount of value, because if the company's been flat pretty much 8 to 10 years, if everyone's comfortable, and we see it a lot in tech companies, they're, especially when interest rates were at zero, people were hiring too much. Like even when I went to Meta, I'm like, okay, lunchroom, beautiful layout, views amazing. I'm calculating this lunch probably costs $15 million a year though. Where have these resources could have gone? And we all know, of course, we want to employ, but to everyone that works, I've said this since the beginning of the show, you have to know, if you're paid, what multiple are you giving the person that writes your check? The easiest way to have job security is to say, hey, you're paying me $115,000 a year. As a result, I'm returning you $600,000 in gross revenue. You'll never get fired. Most people at Twitter cannot tell you right now, and shout out to everybody at Twitter, I love you, what value they are bringing or what multiple they're bringing for their paycheck. And as a result, with Elon taking it over, in order to have a chance to survive during this recession, I think, this is a smart move. And they're not the only tech company that needs to lay off majority of the staff.
So you're taking the less is more approach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, when the article, obviously, you know, people saw the news of it, and a lot of the feedback was, how does it help the company grow, right? Like if you would assume with Elon coming on board, obviously there's going to be an influx of people that follow him, just because it's like, oh, well, he's on Twitter, it's going to be free speech again,
Yeah.
larger influx of people, less workforce. Will they be able to facilitate and handle the bandwidth that comes with that?
They're gonna have to.
Right.
I
So that's
didn't
what I'm
wanna
saying.
have to
They're going to
learn-
have to, but is it going to be done efficiently?
Yes. It's
Okay.
gonna, like, honestly, in a recession, I didn't want to have to learn about Mogami XLR cables, 4K, 60 frame per second lighting, right? I didn't want to have to learn how to deliver information, mess up in an interview, give bad attitude, come back and do calm voice over and master. During a recession, you have to learn how to do more things. Like, imagine if I said, hey, I want to do the show, but I don't want to do any lights. I want to do any presentations. I want y'all to master the audio. You're like, bruh, let me get Mike on here. I'll give him the talking points, right? People have to learn to do more with less in order to survive the storm. So everyone that's on that ship at Twitter and Google and Snap, oh man, I'm afraid Snap, if they don't right this ship, that they may go under if they don't get more funding. Everyone on the team has to do more. And in my personal experience, I see everyone wants the goal or the championship or the Rolex or the Bentley in the car and don't want any of the workload. How has Twitter, a company with that reach and almost every celebrity using it, stay flat for a 10-year period during a zero interest rate environment? But Parler takes off when Ye buys, and we can talk about that later. And then OnlyFans comes out and takes off to the upside, and Be Real takes off, and Twitter is flat. Snapchat comes and have their glory day. Huge mistake. I think people got too comfortable with just having a seat at the table and not having to do anything.
We'll see. We'll monitor this situation. All right. Well, last question before we wrap. The one tactic that grew your business the most this year?
Tactic? I would probably just say for us, it's just been nonstop, man. Consistency. And
Yeah,
we're gonna say it until people really embed it in their brains. Like, and this past week is one of those. It's just a testament to it. Like, we just don't believe that people are gonna be able to outwork
yeah, our
us.
travel schedule been crazy. yo.
we just don't feel like people are gonna be able to outwork us. And we know the task that's on hand. There's a bigger mission, and we're at the forefront of it, and we can't stop now. And so, just being consistent and relentless about this, man. Being relentless and relentless pursuit of the next thing, and never settling. I wouldn't say any tactic. It's just been that. So yeah, just consistency, man. Absolutely relentless.
Y'all
about
a
it.
dynamic duo. Shawty get it look like. You better not get that real answer. But give the people something they can use. And honestly, I want to tell everyone, like, I'm not just trying to get you guys to come to the events, but sometimes when you get to see us interacting in these circles, it gives a perspective on if you're doing enough or not. So you have to be there to feel the energy, see some of the systems, even seeing like AB run around, Matt run around, Chop run around. I know everyone think the travel part is fun. It is not. It is grueling, but it's definitely worth it. For me, just keeping my focus on speaking the truth and focusing on results. I know sometimes people will see the clips, and if you're only seeing the clips of me, even like when the first David Shan clip came out, I was like, you couldn't have put the part about me talking about Xander in first because I sound crazy in that clip. But he was like, it worked out, brother. I'm like, all right, cool. So you have to have result behind the sensationalism. But for me, it's just focusing on the result. And then you guys have seen it this year, me being on the road, shaking hands and kissing babies a hell of a lot more. But the result is always the number one thing you have to focus on. Figure out in your space how you can help people get a better result than everyone else. A bunch of doors will open up. I promise you. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, I would say just collaboration. Probably the best thing that we've done since day one.
Yeah.
And have continued to do. Last year, we collaborated with 19 Keys. That was extremely beneficial for all parties involved. We collaborated with Steve Harvey. That was extremely beneficial. Of course, this is an ongoing relationship, an ongoing partnership with Market Mondays. A bunch of people, more stuff that we're looking to collaborate on. Working with UTA. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
UM.
United Masters,
Yep.
great collaboration with them. Who else? CLF. Shout out to
Shout out to
Megan.
CLF fam, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of just for I think working with people, man. Working with
Collaboration is
people.
key.
Collaboration, partnerships, doing different situations, and just finding a way that building that, because you can only go so far by yourself. So you can run fast by yourself, but you can run
Mhm.
far as a pack. So you got to pick which one you want to do.
These are wise words from a decent.
London, we're on our
Cannot
way.
wait.
See you in a few days. Shout out to all the good folks of the UK. Get your tickets, festfest.com. A weekend to remember. This is going to be one for the books. All of the culture. We're going to bring the culture. London vibes, Halloween party, VIP experience, Royal Albert Hall. Vibes.
How many days we partying? You're not doing what you did last year, right? You're
I
not
don't know.
doing 7 in a row, right?
We don't have enough days. Do we have enough days to do that?
Always got enough days, man. Might end up in Paris. My son will be
Extend
out
the
there.
trip.
That's his first. It's gonna be his first time traveling across. No, he's been across seas before, but this will be his first time in Europe, in London.
Yeah.
So he's excited. He's excited about that. So
If
yeah.
Trap's saying that, I'm definitely staying out.
Oh yeah, we outside. Yo, we outside.
Boy,
But I just want to have travel mercy on everybody that's coming from the United States, that's coming to UK to join us in this historic event. I hope everybody gets there safe. And obviously UK, it's a beautiful place. They're gonna welcome us with open arms, but I want to make sure that everybody that leaves from here gets there safe. Y'all gonna be in for a tremendous experience,
Yes.
man. We had a great time in London in February. It's gonna be even better this time around.
Mhm.
So I'm excited to see everybody and be outside with everybody. The Lobby Boys will be there. We will be there. It's going to be historic. I can't think of another word. I would say it's going to be
I can't wait, yo.
historic is probably the most fitting. I think it's going to be a regal situation.
A night to remember. Yeah, man. Get your
What y'all
suits.
looking forward to the most?
Just getting back out there, man. I love to travel, man. I love traveling is my favorite thing in the whole entire world. So last time we was out there, the energy was just such an amazing vibe, connecting with the people.
Yeah.
Seeing people travel. That's the good thing. Like people travel from all over to come and they just talk to you. And London is one of those cities, man. I want to get the restaurant vibe going, get
Yeah.
the, get the club vibe going, get everything, man. So I'm just looking forward just to being back in London, being back,
We
across
need another
seas.
girl fight too.
Nah. Easy. That's after dark. That's after dark. I'm definitely looking forward to
baby.
stepping inside that Royal Albert Hall. I think Ashley, she just keeps teasing us with these videos, and
Yeah,
I'm
she was
looking at
killing
her
me when she
clips,
tagged me.
and
Yeah.
it just looks so incredible. I mean, she had the span of the people who actually performed there on the wall, and I'm just looking like that's gonna be us next week. So I'm just looking to feel that energy walking inside that space. Like I'm excited for the sound check. I like the show. I'm obviously, but I just
Yeah.
want to walk in that building and feel that energy, so we can really grasp what was happening. Because people are just like, "Yo, y'all performing where?"
Mhm.
So now I want to feel that energy, like for myself.
That Billboard legendary.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
forget
dope.
that. Don't forget that.
But
That's
act like
dope.
that's a regular.
That's Manchester.
Not gonna
That's
act like that's a regular everyday thing.
check your local train station if you're in London.
Second largest billboard in the continent of Europe.
Legendary. Oh, my WhatsApp got hacked. So if anybody's asking to cash
Thank
at
you.
them or anything crazy, that is not me. Be for it. Please let Zuckerberg know I need to get my account reset.
Shout out to
Got me when I was in
B4.
Mexico. My dumb ass, I'll text them back. They sent me a WhatsApp code. I'm like, I don't speak Spanish. Boy, it was over with. So I gotta learn. But don't reply to any WhatsApps if you get them from me. UK family, hit me on DM and IG so we can connect.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, shout out to everybody that was at the gala yesterday. Extremely beneficial. Shout out to the GOAT. Hove was in the building,
He definitely was in the building.
and Beyonce was in the building.
Shout out to Kendra G, who put on the performance.
Kendra G. She paid $50,000 for a Beyonce show.
Yeah, international.
Did she?
Yeah, it was a bidding war. It started at 10,000 and it ended up at
It's a
50,000.
good marketing move. Kendra been cooking though. Like shout out to
Yeah.
everybody back home, Power 92. Kendra been cooking the last year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shout,
yeah.
that was a performance. And talking about performances, let's see what some of these stocks do this week. It is a big week for earnings. So we'll just run down a few that are happening. Obviously, tomorrow we have Microsoft and Alphabet and Chipotle will be reporting, and Spotify. On Wednesday, we got Meta. Shout out to the good folks
To the
at
good
Meta.
folks at Meta.
Before, what's
Love you
up?
guys.
Ian, that's when you do the wave right there. To the good folks at Meta.
Yes.
Thermo
learning.
Fisher, it will be reporting on Wednesday as well. Thursday, we got Shopify, Amazon, Intel, McDonald's will be reporting, MasterCard. So we got some heavyweights in there. And then on Friday, we got the big oil companies. We got Exxon and Chevron that will be reporting. So it's a big earnings week. Make sure y'all pay attention. If you're in some of those positions, you should be paying attention. All right. So that is our earnings calls of the week. And before we go, we got to give a quick shout out to all our people at Ally. Want to let you know about a great choice if you're looking to bank or invest. Ally is a leading digital financial service company with passionate customer service, innovative financial solutions, and our relentlessly focus on doing it right for both customers and our communities. Get with Ally so you can save, invest, and spend on all the things that matter most to you. For everything we need, we're all better off with an Ally.
Yeah.
Shout out to our good friends over there. Yeah.
All right, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Shout out to Leroy Storm. Big episode.
Storm Leroy.
Storm Leroy. Big episode. And London. We're on our way.
Yeah, we'll see you there. Make sure you got your costumes ready.
Lobster and truffle.
That's a fact. Guess what's on the menu. Love is love,
y'all.
y'all. Y'all be
Vibing
safe.
tonight. What y'all doing? I like LA, y'all. Shook, Shotty. I like what y'all doing.
yeah.
Y'all make me.
Malibu. We on our way.
You know, yeah, we outside, of course.
Hey, gotta
All right,
go.
y'all. Be good. Love is love.
Peace.